We've got some breaking news. Vance Boelter, who was suspected to have killed one Democratic lawmaker and severely wounded another, has been caught. As you can see here is an image released from the Minnesota police. And we have some information coming out about this. More than 100 law enforcement officers, including SWAT teams, were searching the area, including nearby homes, Evans said. He also said they had received more than 400 tips from the public. The earlier search happened in rural Sibley County, roughly 50 miles southwest of Minneapolis, where Boelter had a home with his wife and 5 children. Residents in the area received an emergency alert about the located vehicle that warned them to lock the doors and cars. Earlier, Drew Evans, a superintendent at the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, said authorities found a car very early Sunday they believed Boelter was using a few miles away from his home in Green Isle, in the farm country about an hour west of Minneapolis. He also said they found evidence in the car that was relevant to the investigation, but did not provide details. And there is also an image here of, this is one of the homes of Senator John Hoffman, who is still alive, though critically injured. You can see here there were bullet holes in the door, many. A criminal complaint was unsealed Sunday night that says Boelter faces 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder in the deaths of the Hortmans and the wounding of Hoffman and his wife. And we also know now that a list of 70 names was found in writings recovered from the fake police vehicle that was left at the crime scene, the official said. The writings and lists of names included prominent state and federal lawmakers and community leaders, all Democrats, and he was also targeting abortion clinics. And so the right has been going nonstop about this, saying that he is a left-wing lunatic. But I actually have video of this man's roommate who says that he would actually be offended if he was called a Democrat.
Can you talk about his politics a little bit? I know that you had some discussions. I just wanted to talk.
Well, everyone's calling him a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. He would be offended if people called him a Democrat. He, because of this board thing he was on for Governor Walz, it wasn't to serve. He was just serving the community. But I can't believe a political issue would cause him to do such things.
Did he ever bring up the senator or the representative who were targeted?
Like I was saying, no, he never talked about those people. I didn't know those people. I didn't recognize their names.
Any politicians he mentioned?
Well, he mentioned Nancy Pelosi. He didn't like Jim Walz.
Jim Walz?
Didn't like Jim Biden.
But Tim Walz? What would he say?
Yeah, so he didn't like Walz, didn't like Joe Biden, didn't like Nancy Pelosi. His roommate is saying he would have been offended being called a Democrat. Doesn't sound like a Democrat. That narrative online on the right, which has gone insane, is clearly not true. We have to say this over and over again. We cannot let them get away with their lies. Piece of shit, Senator Mike Lee of Utah said, this is what happens when Marxists don't get their way. He's not left-wing at all. He's a Republican. I don't think we should politicize this. I mean, it's obviously a political act, but I don't think every single Republican is going to potentially be a shooter. So I don't think we should be labeling these folks like they are. But he obviously did lean to the right. And what he is doing here, the senator, is being so inappropriate, and it's so irresponsible for him to be just throwing around labels like this. And it's also just not, it's just not true. It's not factual. It's not factual. Well, we actually have a real leader, thankfully, in Tim Walz, who made the announcement just moments ago. Here that is.
Good evening. After a 2-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Boelter. That's 48 hours that law enforcement involved in a complex and dangerous manhunt. spent Father's Day away from their families to deliver justice for Melissa and Mark Hortman.
If you're grateful for leaders like Tim Walz, leave a like on this video because we have to boost this up and make sure as many people as possible see it. And this is a little bit longer, but I want to watch all of it because Tim Walz goes into why this can't be the norm, and it can't be the norm. But this, I think, is really important that everyone sees. So please go ahead and drop a like, and let's make sure as many people as possible can see this message.
Spare no expense and no work to make sure that that happens. A moment in this country where we watched violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now's the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country. And each and every one of us can do it. Talk to a neighbor rather than arguing. Debate an issue. Shake hands. Find common ground. This is who Melissa Hortman was. In the first negotiating session that I had a chance to work with her, she got all the partners in the room, and she provided each and every one of us a copy of a book called Getting to Yes. And the whole premise was debating with a sense of goodwill, a sense of trying to come to compromises that serve everyone. And because of her, we did that. Because of her, we did that year after year after year.
Real quick, wouldn't that be nice if that's how it were in Congress, that everyone was trying to find common ground rather than trying to divide and attack and make each other their enemy? Sounds like a nicer way to live.
That's the embodiment of how things are supposed to work. It's not about hatred. It's not about mean tweets. It's not about demeaning someone. It's leading with grace and compassion and vision and compromise and decency. That was taken from us in Minnesota with the murder of Speaker Hortman. So for each and every one of us to truly honor, and we will continue to honor that spirit, but we will need to do it in just more than actions in a memorial. Conducting ourselves in the spirit that Melissa Hortman did her work is what the country needs to heal.
I love that message, and I do think that is one way that we can honor her life is by saying to ourselves that we commit to finding common ground. I think I will try to do that as best I can. I actually, when I was at the parade yesterday, I spoke to some MAGA voters, and I did find myself trying to relate to them rather than just be argumentative. And I do think that is one way that we can get closer is by kind of trying to remember what makes us the same, which is we are all American. We all want a better life for our family, our children, ourselves. We might have different ways of going about it, but we all want a better version of America. I don't know, maybe that could be helpful. Maybe I'm being a little naive, but I'm so glad I found this guy. I'm so grateful for Tim Walz. Thank you for being up this late and watching with me on this breaking story. If you'd like the video, please hit like on the video. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.